My family removed my 7-year-old daughter from the family Christmas video. We've all voted. You're not family, my sister said. Anna broke into tears. I didn't cry. I made the call. The next morning, their lives began to come apart. Christmas Eve had that forced kind of warmth. Fake smiles. The oven turned up too high. My parents' living room smelled of cinnamon candles and tight nerves. Rachel was running the show as always. She called this year's project Our Legacy. There was even a red bow taped over the TV because tonight was the premiere. Her word, not mine. Anna sat on the carpet in front of me, practically glowing. She'd been talking about the video for weeks, telling her teacher and friends that she'd be in a Christmas movie. She'd brushed her hair 3 times before we left and kept asking if her glitter shoes looked movie enough. "Do you think Grandma will like it?" she asked. "She'll love it," I said. I hoped I was right. Rachel dimmed the lights. "Okay, everyone, phones away. Let's make this special." The screen came alive. Music, sleigh bells, snow. Then familiar faces. Mom arranging cookies, Dad pretending to fix a bulb while everyone laughed. Relatives chuckled. "So cute," someone said. Then Rachel's kids filled the screen, covered in flowers, squealing. Applause. I smiled and waited. 5 minutes. Nothing. 10 minutes. Still nothing. My stomach tightened as the montage showed the family decorating the tree, but the frame cut off before it reached where Anna and I had been that day. It jumped to another shot. Gone. Rachel's voice played over the montage. "Family is what you build together." Someone sighed happily. "That's beautiful." Anna turned to me. "When are we in it?" I swallowed. "Any minute now." But the credits rolled. Edited by Rachel. Real applause. Anna blinked. "Mommy, where are we?" The room went very quiet for me. Even though others chatted, I could hear my heartbeat. Rachel hugged Mom, who was crying for reasons I couldn't tell. Dad raised his glass. "To family." I stood before I could say something I'd regret. "Excuse us." No one stopped me. In the hallway, I breathed. Anna's small footsteps hurried after. "Did we do something wrong?" she asked. "No," I said, but it came out fractured. "You didn't do anything wrong." She rubbed her eyes. Maybe they didn't like how I looked. That hit like a physical blow. I went back in. Rachel was refilling drinks, still smiling. "Quick question," I said, my voice calm in a way that surprised me. "We weren't in the video." She didn't look guilty. "Oh, it was just too long. We trimmed a few parts." "A few parts," she shrugged. "It didn't feel cohesive. You know, the family theme." I stared. "You cut out a 7-year-old for cohesion?" Rachel lowered her voice. "Don't make this a scene. We all talked about it. It didn't fit the overall message." The message, she explained, was that we're a close family. I laughed because the alternative felt worse. "So you edited us out for accuracy?" She folded her arms. "You've been distant, Julia. We voted. It just didn't feel authentic." "You voted?" I asked. "It was unanimous." She paused, then said it with careless ease. "We've all voted. You're not family." I stared. She actually said it. Rachel tilted her head. "It's better to be honest." Anna's quiet sobs filled the room. Mom frowned. "Honey, please. She's upsetting the children." "She is a child," I said. "You just didn't notice." Rachel rolled her eyes. "Julia, please. Let's not ruin Christmas." I laughed. "You already did." I took Anna's hand, grabbed our coats, and left. No one followed. Outside, the cold hit like plain truth. Anna pressed her face into my coat. "Was I too silly? I can be better next time." My throat hurt. "You were perfect, baby. Absolutely perfect." She nodded, but her lip trembled. "Then why did they take me out?" she asked. "Because they could," I thought. Because it was easy. The sky was black velvet, the kind that makes Christmas lights look cruel. Back home, she went straight to her room and talked softly to her stuffed bear, repeating the lines she'd practiced for the video. "Merry Christmas from our family to yours." I sat on the couch and watched the tree lights blink. One on, one off, one on. Like a warning. Every year, Rachel found a new way to remind me I was a footnote. This year, she made it official. I wanted to call someone, to yell, to demand an explanation, but there was no one left to call. My phone stayed dark on the coffee table. After a while, Anna came out in her pajamas. Her eyes were puffy, but she tried to smile. "Maybe next year we can make our own video," she said. I nodded. "Maybe we will." She crawled into my lap, small and warm, when asked, smelling like shampoo and heartbreak. "Mommy?" "Yeah?" "I think they don't like us." I pressed my chin to her hair. "Then we'll like us enough for both of them." She nodded against me, tired. I held her until she fell asleep, the tree's glow flickering across her face. In that quiet, something in me hardened. Not anger, not a desire for revenge, but certainty. They could cut us out all they wanted. This time, we'd make sure everyone saw it. Families like mine don't need villains. They need silence. I had filled that role perfectly. I was the middle child, Rachel the leader, Luke the favorite, and me the background noise. Rachel ran our lives like a company. Every event had a theme, a schedule, and an after-action report. She was the kid who got gold stars for telling others what to do. Luke was the baby, the family mascot. He could crash a car into the garage and Dad would call it boys being boys. I was the steady one, reliable and invisible, the child teachers forgot to call on. Mom used to say, Julia's our easy one. Easy meant quiet. Easy meant forgettable. As a teen, I wrote stories in cheap notebooks, little movie scenes about families that noticed each other and kids chosen first. I once said I wanted to study film. Rachel laughed like I'd said I wanted to join the circus. Mom said, Honey, that's not a career. You're good with computers, so I got good computers, she added. I folded up those stories and put them away. Years later, I met someone who made me feel seen. He was charming in that fast-talking, over-promising way that feels like love when you've never been believed. By the time I realized I was pregnant, he was gone. When I told my parents, they reacted as if I'd set the house on fire. Rachel said, Well, someone has to be the family lesson. Mom cried, not for me, for her reputation. Dad just looked disappointed I hadn't gotten a ring. Anna was born healthy and loud, both things my family didn't know how to handle. For them, single motherhood was whispered about, not lived out. At holidays, Mom introduced her as Julia's little situation. Then Luke had a baby too, a casual fling he bragged about over beers, and suddenly that made him interesting. Mom called him charming. Dad called him wild. Rachel called him lucky. For men, accidental parenthood was adorable. For women, it was proof of poor judgment. We all had kids, but only 2 of us got framed photos on the mantle. Rachel's children were a brand. Matching outfits, choreographed smiles, an entire wing of my parents' house filled with their projects. Luke's daughter had weekend visits, her own stocking, and a spot on the family Christmas card. Mom even bought a gift for Luke's ex last year. She's family now, she said. I looked down at Anna's name tag among the presents. Spelled wrong again. Still, I kept showing up. I told myself it mattered for Anna to know her cousins. Rachel's kids adored her and didn't see Anna as lesser. So when Rachel proposed the family Christmas video, I said yes. It felt like a truce, maybe even a fresh start. She hired a cameraman, Evan. Quiet and polite, the kind who seemed apologetic for taking up space. He filmed all month. Rachel's kids baking, Luke's daughter sledding with Grandpa, even Luke's ex in the background handing out cocoa. I asked, Do you need us for anything else? Rachel smiled. We'll see how it all fits together. I didn't realize fit together meant cut out. I tried not to notice the pattern, but it was impossible. Rachel got the spotlight, Luke got indulgence, and I got reminders to be grateful I was allowed in the room. When Mom talked about Luke, she said, He's so good with his daughter, which translated to, he showed up twice this month. When she talked about me, she said, Julia's doing her best, which translated to, we're embarrassed, but at least she pays her bills. Still, I believed in second chances for Anna, not for me. When Rachel invited us to the final screening, Anna squealed so loud the neighbor's dog barked. She laid out her dress days in advance and practiced her lines for the interview Evan filmed. This will show everyone we're a real family, she said. I couldn't tell her the truth. We already were. It just didn't count unless Rachel approved. Looking back, it was obvious. The polite smiles, the missing calls, the way Luke's daughter had her own solo in the carol, while Anna's part was lost in editing. Rachel wanted a perfect family and achieved it by deleting the parts that proved it wasn't. I'd spent my life trying to belong to a family that edited people in real time. That Christmas, I hadn't realized the final cut was coming. That night, back home, I sat at the kitchen table and opened my banking app. 5 taps later, every automatic transfer labeled Family Fund or Rachel's holiday budget was gone. No warning, no explanation. Delete, delete, delete. If they wanted me out, I'd give them the clean version. I stared at the screen, waiting for guilt, and found none. Anna didn't speak much that week. She'd stopped crying, which somehow hurt more. She wandered the apartment, humming Christmas songs under her breath like she was trying to recall how it used to feel. I found her sitting by the window with her knees pulled to her chest. "Baby," I said softly. "Want to draw something?" She shook her head. She shook her head. "No one wants to see it." That was the quiet moment everything shifted, a small internal snap that rearranged how I saw things. I scrolled my contacts until I found Evan Ree's number and called. He picked up on the second ring. "Julia, it's me," I said. "You do projects besides family videos, right?" He paused. "Yeah, I make short films sometimes." "Why?" "I want one," I told him, "for my daughter." He sounded careful. "What kind of film?" "One that makes her feel like she matters." After a beat, he said, "Okay, I can write a small piece, maybe a 4-minute short. She'd be the star. We could hire a few local actors and make it look good, but it won't be cheap." "How much?" I asked. 6,000. I didn't hesitate. "Done." He went quiet. "Are you sure?" he asked. "I just took my funding from a family that edited my child out," I said. "I have the money." He breathed out. "All right, give me a week to plan." "No," I said. "Soon. She's forgetting how to smile." The next morning, I told Anna that the man who filmed the Christmas video couldn't stop thinking about her. "He wants you in his new movie," I said. Her head snapped up. "Really? Me?" I told her rehearsal started that weekend. She ran in circles around the living room. "I have to practice." I kept the story simple. It's about a little girl who finds her voice. I didn't tell her I was buying it. That night, Evan sent a short outline, a gentle tale about a child who saves her town from darkness by lighting candles, not a direct retelling of the past, but a chance to show her bravery. I told him, "Make her brave again." He asked if I wanted changes. I didn't. Except for one line at the end, I added, "Some lights can't be switched off." "Perfect," he said. Filming began that weekend in a borrowed school auditorium. Anna wore her red dress from the family video. Seeing her under the lights, smiling, I realized I hadn't seen that face since before Christmas Eve. Evan brought a small crew, 2 college students and a couple of local actors who volunteered. It wasn't polished, but it was real. Anna took direction as if she'd been waiting to be seen by someone who wouldn't erase her. She learned her lines, added small gestures, even improvised once. The crew applauded. Evan leaned over and murmured, "She's a natural." I smiled. She'd learned that from surviving the family. On day 2, there was a scene where she had to cry. I expected staged tears. Instead, she produced a quiet, believable sorrow, the same heartbreak I'd seen in the car after Christmas. The room fell still. When Evan called, "Cut," she looked at me and grinned through the tears. "Did I do good?" she asked. "You were perfect," I said, my voice unsteady. We wrapped in 2 days. Evan shook my hand. "This turned out better than I thought. I'll have the edit done soon." "How soon?" I asked. "A week, maybe." "Faster," I said. Anna checked the mail like someone waiting for Hollywood. Evan laughed. "You're a good mom, Julia." "No," I said. "I'm trying to fix what they broke." That night, after Anna fell asleep, I checked my savings. 6,000 gone in 48 hours. My stomach flipped. Then I remembered her spinning under the studio lights, smiling like nothing bad had happened. If joy had a price, I'd pay it again. 3 days later, Evan sent a link. Rough cut for Julia and Anna. I waited until she was asleep, then pressed play. It opened on her face, bright and confident. The plot was simple, a little girl lighting candles until the town was lit. By the end, I was crying so hard I had to pause. It wasn't about Christmas or revenge. It was about light the edits couldn't remove. Evan followed with a message. "It's beautiful. We should submit to festivals. Can I list you as co-writer?" I stared at the screen, tears drying on my cheeks. For the first time in years, I didn't feel erased. I replied, "Yes, but list her first." When I checked on Anna, she slept with one hand on her teddy and the other curled into a tiny fist. I brushed her hair back and whispered, "They took you out of their story." She stirred, eyes fluttering open. "But now I'm in ours," I said. She smiled. For the first time since that night, the world seemed like it might make sense again. Then the phone rang. The caller ID showed home. I almost didn't pick up. "Julia," Rachel snapped before I could say hello. "You have some nerve." I leaned against the counter. "Good morning to you, too." "You think this is funny? Everyone's talking about that interview." I frowned. "What interview?" Mom's voice joined in, sharp and panicked. "Don't play dumb. Anya told that reporter about the Christmas video." My stomach dropped. What did she say exactly? Rachel mimicked Anna's soft voice in the cruelest tone. They cut me out of their Christmas movie, but Mr. Ree made one just for me. I could picture them, gathered around the phone, ready to swarm. Dad's voice followed, loud enough to make me pull the phone away. We've got customers asking if we're the monsters from that article. Do you realize what you've done to our business? Their boutique, full of signs about family values and shop local, probably looked different that morning. I almost smiled. If people see themselves in a story about erasing a child, maybe that's the part they should fix, I thought. Call the paper, Rachel hissed. Tell them it's not true. Tell them Anna made it up. She's 7, I said flatly. 7-year-olds don't invent betrayal, they just speak the truth. You're ruining us, Mom said. No, I replied. You did that yourselves. I added, I just stopped cleaning up after you. Silence stretched, then Rachel issued one last threat. If we lose the shop, I'll never forgive you. Then I guess we're even, I said, and hung up. A few weeks earlier, this hadn't existed. The festival was small, folding chairs, lukewarm cider, a projector on a wobbly table. Anna wore the red dress again, she'd begged for it. Evan had warned there might be a local reporter. These stories sell. I told him not to worry. She's shy. Shows what I knew. The film played well. Applause filled the hall. Afterward, a friendly reporter knelt beside Anna with a notepad. How does it feel to be in your first movie? She asked. Anna beamed. Amazing. I was in another one before, but they took me out, she added matter-of-factly. Who did? The reporter asked. My family, she said. They cut me out of the Christmas movie, so Mr. Ree made one just for me. I froze on the way to the snack table. The reporter's eyebrows lifted. That's quite a story. It's true, Anna said proudly. 2 days later, a headline appeared. Local girl shines after being cut from family Christmas video. A follow-up, small town's sweetest scandal, when family becomes fiction. By the week's end, everyone knew which family it was. Rachel's store, their pride and livelihood, went quiet almost overnight. Cars still passed, but no one entered. The bell stayed silent. Someone left a 1-star review. Lovely products. Shame about the owners. Apparently, compassion costs extra. By week 2, Mom was begging. Julia, we're drowning. People are boycotting us. Please tell Anna to apologize. Say it was a misunderstanding. I almost felt sorry for her. Almost. I'm not teaching my daughter to lie for you, I said. She told the truth. Maybe you should try that for once. Mom sniffled. We've all voted. You're not family. She repeated it as if saying it often enough could make it real. I hung up. Truth, it turns out, spreads faster than gossip. The local news called Evan. He kept his comment simple. Anya is a talented young performer. The rest speaks for itself. Within a month, the short started making the rounds at small festivals. At one screening, Anna was given a certificate for Best Young Performer. She held it like it was gold. Does this mean I'm a real actress? She whispered. Sweetheart, I said. You've been real all along. Evan watched from the back and later said, There's a talent agent here tonight. Want me to introduce you? I hesitated. Isn't that a lot? He shrugged. So is what they did to her. Let her have this. We met the agent, Donna, who talked fast and smiled wide. We'd love to represent Anna, she said. We get a lot of commercials and family-friendly projects. I watched Anna light up, and without overthinking it, I signed the papers. By spring, Rachel's shop had closed. The display window held only a faded for lease sign. Someone spray-painted, cut out the cruelty along the side wall. Mom and Dad sold the building to cover debts. Luke moved 2 towns away to escape the fallout. Me? I slept better. I still got angry messages. Hope you're happy. I wasn't happy that they suffered. I was relieved because Anna didn't anymore. One night after her first commercial shoot, a local bakery ad, she came home grinning with frosting on her sleeve. Guess what the director said? She asked. What? He said, You're a natural. I smiled. He's right. She paused. Do you think Grandma and Aunt Rachel know I'm on TV now? I think everyone does, I said. She giggled, kicked off her shoes, and ran down the hall. I watched her go. The red dress hung in the closet like a flag we'd reclaimed. They erased her once. Now everyone could see her. So did I go too far, or not far enough? Tell me what you think in the comments.